Now, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me very carefully, because I have something to say to you. Our next guest, let me tell you his story. On December the 13th, 1973, he was 27 years of age and a motor racing fanatic. And on that day, December 13th, 1973, he was on his way to work, wasn't he? Because as well as being a motor racing enthusiast, he had his own motor racing magazine. And he was going to work, and he drove off his normal route to a volcano in central France on his way to work. There he met, listen to me closely now, there he met some extraterrestrials in their spaceship on the side of the volcano. It's only a small volcano. And they told him that they had created humankind in laboratories, and they asked him to spread the word throughout the world about them. Listen to me, Johnny, watch my lips. And they asked him to build an embassy on neutral territory so that they could come and visit the Earth, the people they had created, in peace. Now, in 1975, he met with the ETs again in a south-central region of France, and they took him with them to their planet, which is God knows how many light years away. I don't know how far it is. Now, he says that if even 5% of the people around the world who claim to have seen UFOs are sincere, then it's worth taking seriously. Let's have a welcome, please, for Claude Rael. This story is... For a guy who went out to the planets, you haven't such a hot sense of direction. But however, how are you? You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Now, they met you on the side of the road, Claude, did they? These guys?
Yes, it was. I was going to my office, like you said before, and I didn't know that was the day. This day will change my life.
And what did they look like?
They look like us because they created us in their image, like the Bible explained. And they are like us, a little bit smaller. They have large almond-shaped eyes, but they are like us. They are human like us.
And how many of them were there?
I met only one at the first encounter. And it was really, for me, an incredible day. It was the most fantastic day of my life.
Yes, and how long did the conversation last on that first day?
It was 6 hours. 6 times 1 hour. 1 hour the first day, 1 hour the second day, and the 6th day, 1 hour.
Yes, yes. And then, when the next time you met them, in 1975, was it? You met them, and they took you with them to their planet. In what sort of a thing did they have to travel to the planet?
We have to understand that technology is 25,000 years of advance on Earth. So, if we imagine what was the civilization 100 years ago, for instance, everything in this studio is like a miracle for our grandfather.
Yes.
The microphone, the lights, it's
beyond their wildest imagination.
Exactly.
Yes.
But can you try to imagine, after 25,000 years, what kind of civilization we will have on Earth? So it's what is their civilization.
Yes. But what sort of a contraption did you go in? I mean, was it anything like a motor car or a bus or an aircraft or whatever?
We have only also to think in what can be the future of vehicles we will have. It looks like a bell, a flattened bell, made of a very shining silver metal. It was about 7 meters of diameter. And when he invited me to go inside, I was very disappointed because I was a racing car driver, and also I knew about how to pilot airplanes, and I was very enthusiastic to see how is it possible to pilot, to drive this kind of machine. But when I arrived inside the room, there was no panel instrument, no wheel, nothing. Only a circle room made of the same shining silver metal like outside.
And when you got to their place of abode, their planet, what did you see there? Tell me about the people you saw and how they travel on the planet, and do they work, and are there children, all of those things.
Yes, I think to understand more about them, it's necessary first to resume the message they gave me, because if directly I describe the planet, maybe it looks a little bit funny. So it's necessary to understand these people came on the earth a very long time ago. They built big laboratories, and in these laboratories, thanks to DNA and genetic combination, they created all life on earth. It means trees, animals, and man in their image.
Us.
Yes, and the Bible describes what they did. You will say to me, but in the Bible it's written the first day God did that, the second day. But the Bible was written in Hebrew, and then translated from Hebrew in Greek, then from Greek to Latin, then from Latin to English. So in the beginning, the original Bible, you can find one very easily. It's not written the first day God did that, but the first day Elohim did that. The second day Elohim did that. And in Hebrew, Elohim means those who came from the sky. So we understand, for primitive people, maybe you saw this fantastic movie, Gods Must Be Crazy, where you have a Coca-Cola bottle coming from the sky, and the primitive man in Africa thinks it's coming from God. So it's exactly the same, different level of technology. People were primitive, and when they saw people coming from the sky, they believed, it's God. But
yeah, well, they would, wouldn't they? Yes. Now, but tell me about when you got to the planet, what sort of life they led anyway, when you got there.
They have no, of course, they have no work, like we used to have work.
Listen, I got tickets for everybody in the audience for one of these 3 trips now. If you're not careful, we could send you. Yes, Claude. So they have no work, and so what do they do all the time?
Why they have no work? Because, and we are slowly going inside this civilization. For instance, if all the people applaud here, it's because they feel men are not made to work. We have computers, we have robots, and we are not here to work like a machine. Machine can work for us. And for instance, to build a car in Japan a few years ago, it was necessary to have 10,000 people working. Now, only a computer.
Of course.
We are going slowly inside this kind of civilization. But they have 25,000 of scientific advance on us. There is no money on their planet.
There is no money.
There is no armies.
Yes.
There is no violence. And there is no disease, because scientifically they organize everything.
So what do they do all day, Claude?
They do what men are made for: create, think, and epanoish themselves.
Yeah. What's your reaction to all of this, Victor? You're
I'd
skeptical
like to
about it.
ask,
I mean, think of the market for shavers, first
I
of
was
all.
going to ask, do they shave?
Do they shave?
No.
No.
Oh, I'm not in sympathy at all. Obviously, this would be a disaster for me. But I've got to ask you, what created them? I mean, if they came down here and created us, what created them?
They were created by people coming from another planet.
Where did the people from the other planet come from?
Another
they were
planet.
created from another planet. And we, human beings, we will go to another planet. There is already a NASA, American NASA, planned to go to another planet and to create life. And the man we will create will consider us like gods. And this is infinity. But because we are human beings, by a kind of anthropomorphism, we would like to make the universe like us. But for instance, before this message, there was 2 ways to explain our origin. The first one was a supernatural God. And when you ask to somebody who believes in God, okay, who created God? The same question, back to infinity, he is eternal. And when you ask to people who believe in Darwin or evolution, okay, at the beginning there was a lot of energy at the same place, they call it the Big Bang, and where did come from this energy? One more time you must go through infinity, because for a physical law, from nothing, nothing. Nothing can appear from nothing. And what composes us will never be disappeared.
But Claude, why you say they want to build an embassy here?
They asked me to build an embassy.
You to build an embassy.
Yes, and we are, with the Raelian movement, we have now about 20,000 members around the world.
And would Ireland be one of the places they might choose for this embassy? Or why not? Why not?
Why not? But they asked me if possible to build this embassy near Jerusalem, because it's for them a very important place. They had, the first laboratory was made, the Garden of Eden is in the Bible, was near Jerusalem. And also, Jesus was one of them, one of the messengers they had on this planet. Jesus was the son of one of them, and a girl from the earth.
One
Mary.
of the Elohim.
He was, one of the Elohim was his father.
Yes.
And he had the mission to spread the message of the Old Testament everywhere in the world, and he did it.
Yes.
Of course, the primitive people of this time killed him. Because when you are a messenger with a new message, you are very dangerous for many people.
Indeed.